probably like the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
What you've been able to do has been incredible. I've always said it to you in the past before.
Yeah.
But like that early stage, like seeing that and witnessing it.
Yeah.
And also I think I was able to witness it at a point in my life where like my life is changing too. So I'm just observing of what's going on in your life. And I'm like, bro, how was he handling all of that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know how I'm trying to cope with it.
Yeah.
So how was you coping with it at that stage where, you know, and I think what is the beautiful thing, this was the beginning of what we know as social media now.
Yeah.
And some people will be like, well, how has it changed? And you're like, bro, like when we was putting out videos, they were 15 seconds.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
And then it was like, oh, you get a minute.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
There wasn't even views. There was just likes. So sometimes you don't know how many views you got. You had to judge it by likes. And also you had created something, and you know, sometimes now you can create a thing where you're like, oh, like if this shit gets shared by the right people, this can blow up. But back then, that wasn't a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, I might try something, and if it works, it works.
Mm.
The goal wasn't for it to go viral. The goal was just like, I just want people to like it. It was almost like the goal was just like, can I'm Just Bait share it, or GRM share it, or link? That was your stamp of approval.
That was a stamp. And
Because
I love those. I love
yeah.
I'm Just
100%, man.
Jike at GRM.
Yeah. Big up all of them lot, man.
Link up.
Because they essentially changed our lives. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no. I always say social. As much as like social media's helped me get the career that I've got now, but some of those people behind the scenes are the people that essentially changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In ways that every time I see them, I'm like, "What's good? How you been? You're right." Like, do you know what I mean? So like, how was that early period for you though? Because you know, I know like similar times where, you know, you're doing your MC Quake videos with your brother, which was just like you and your brother messing around. Do you know what I mean? You got an idea, this is fine, let's try it, and messing around. And I love your brother as well, man.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, I love your brother, man. I've always got a lot of time for your brother.
That's my guy.
But how was that beginning period for you? Because I feel like that's the period in your life where you're like, I didn't plan for this to be what it became, you know?
That period was a whirlwind. But I think I didn't even realize how much of a whirlwind it was, because I think sometimes in life when you want something or you wish for something, for example, you don't actually take in what it actually comes with. So, you know, realizing and actually changing from, oh, you're making videos in your house and blah blah blah, and now like you're bruv, like everyone knows who you are, per se. Like you can't really maneuver like you used to maneuver.
But for
just
you,
like that.
It was crazy because it was it was literally overnight.
Yeah, I would say yeah, because I think there was a stage where we both kind of had like maybe like 250,000 followers, 200 and something thousand followers each, and I think you had like more than me at the time, because it was almost like it's Michael is Mo, it's Mo is Mike, because we were just it was such a beautiful time. And I just think when obviously the Fire in the Booth came out and stuff, you know, shouts out to Charlie and, you know, the Ryan Newman, the whole team over there. They're amazing people. I think when it came out, I didn't anticipate it. Like, I knew it was gonna be like good. You feel me? Like, something's like, you know, because I just knew that naturally, like I said, I've always liked music anyway. It's not like, and you was MCing yourself. Right? We was MCing, like we were just kind of just
There's so many videos I've got, man.
Yo, so many. The video at your mum's house.
Yeah, I put it out the other day. That's so funny, man.
I'm gonna put out a clip of it this week. That is still like one of my favorites, my favorite ever viral moments ever. Like, you just don't understand. Do you know why? Because just the purity.
Yeah, it was just stupid. It wasn't planned. It was just
wasn't planned.
Messing around on Instagram Live.
Jolie will up the black. But anyway, cool. That period, it was a lot of adjusting, man. I think sometimes people don't actually, you can't mentally prepare for something like that. In terms of like, there's viral and then there's viral and then there's viral and then there's viral.
Yeah.
You hear me? Like there's levels to virality.
Yeah.
You can't prepare for virality like that. There's nothing that can mentally, emotionally prepare you for that. And as your life is already changing, as you said, you know, both of our lives was changing stage by stage by stage by stage, and then it's just, you know, go.
Yeah, of course.
It was, at the time, I think obviously, you know, my faith in God, as you know, like, you know, I'm Christian, I go to church, and that, I believe that was what held me down. Because, you know, like, being famous can be stressful.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Of course.
Being famous can be stressful. Being famous, because I think people look at just one side of it in terms of like, and remember, I didn't know this, like, and I'm sure you didn't know this yourself, and it's like, no one can coach you for something like that.
Yeah.
And there's not really much people that you can speak to in regards to, how do you deal with this, or how do you or how do you navigate this space, or how do you navigate that? Who are you gonna speak to? Like, who's gonna, and I think, like, especially coming from, you know, where we come from, it's almost like every man at times just becomes like an island.
Yeah.
So it's very kind of like, oh, he's doing this thing over here, and she's doing her thing over there, and they're over there, and they're over there, and it's almost like, oh, let's look what's going on over there. Okay, yep. Oh, let's look what's going on. And it's never like, there wasn't really much people that I could kind of speak to tap into, to say, yo, how do you navigate this space? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with this? And so you're almost like, it's like you're learning on the job. You're learning to walk, run, crawl, jump, sit, sprint, all at the same time. And it's like, this is insane, because in natural life and living, it happens in stages. You crawl, then you walk, then you run, then you learn to sprint, and then jump or whatever. But it's like you're doing all of these things at one time. Your mind and just your mental health at that stage is kind of like, it could be all kind of like over the place.
How was your mental health at that time?
It was, like I said, it was cool.
This is like 2000 and, what are we saying, 2017?
Yeah, 2017, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a balance, because you're dealing with like emotion, because I think and I always say this upon realization, I always say to people, the two times that you realize who people are really in your life is, number one, when you're at a really low stage and you might not have nothing, or things turn left, and it's just like, you know, some people are going, oh, well, I'm not touching him, or I don't want nothing to do with you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, of course.
And number two is when your life starts to change and you start to ascend, or you start to go to a place that maybe people didn't anticipate that you could go to. So I started to experience that change around me in terms of like certain people that were close friends, etc., etc. Then it's just kind of like, they start to dwindle away. Then obviously, let's say, for example,
it's hard because you want to take everyone as well
1 million
with you
1
on
million.
these journeys and these side missions and these quests, but then you realize you're like, I've got to do the job first,
100%.
and it becomes harder. And it's good at the first time, but it's just not sustainable.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
No,
you know,
it's not sustainable, and it is difficult. And I believe that, like, the people that are really for you and they understand you and they want to, like, I have some friends that, like, they just understood what I was going through in terms of like, yo, this is a lot for him, in terms of like, yo, he was just here with us and now he's over here. And it's like, just imagine, and those are people that become they're your friends, because it's like, you can actually, you've taken a moment to actually reflect and think, okay, cool, this is a lot for Mike, because obviously it's like, you're now thrust and cool, like, you know, I've always enjoyed music, but I didn't think I'll be performing in front of 50,000 people just like that.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And it's like, cool, you learn how to do shows in terms of, let's say, in front of like 1,500 people, 2,000 people, but then festivals a different
breed, man.
It's like a different arena. And you know, it was almost like I was learning how to do festivals whilst I was at the festivals. I'm standing there and I'm watching other acts like perform, looking at their breathing. Not like that might sound weird, but like, you know what I'm saying, just looking at their breathing. Looking at like crowd control, this that, because when I do something, I want to be excellent at it. You get me? And so I'm just like, if I'm gonna be doing this, I want to make sure that I'm giving these people the best experience possible, because when you step into that arena, yes, you may be a comedian or you may be a creative or etc. When you step into that arena, they're seeing you for music, and so they want to have that experience with you.
Of course.
You get me? And so it's like,
and you're also performing around the world as well.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So you're going to places for the first time. I guess, I don't know, like, did you ever get to see those places, or was it literally like, we land, do the show, we leave, on to the next one?
There was a few places. I think there was a few moments that, like, bro, like, you know, your head is kind of like, yo, like, you know, my head is kind of like, what's going on? Like, I didn't get to really experience a lot. Some places I did. I had a great time in Kenya. I loved Kenya, the people of Kenya. I think they're amazing. In Asia, South Korea, Hong Kong.
Where was the strangest place you think you went, or you probably got
Russia.
recognized?
Russia.
Oh yeah.
I did a show in Russia. Russia. That yo, I was scared going in.
How many people were we talking about was at this show?
Ooh, it might have been like 1,000. 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It might be like, maybe let's say 500 to 1,000. It might be more, because you become like desensitized sometimes to numbers. When you're just always going out. So you're not thinking, oh, how many people is this? You're just kind of like.
And I guess it must have changed. You must have gone from like big places where there's like a big festival, and then places where you're like, is it a festival? And you're like, oh no, this is a big show, but it's 5,000. This is more of like an intimate show, a concert. Do you know what I'm saying?
100. Russia was crazy, and I remember like landing in Russia, because of all these kind of like preconceptions that you have of a country, but I was scared even going through the airport, like, and they're just looking at me like that. Passport, stamp, move, and hey. What was funny was when we were doing the show, I don't know if I can say it, but maybe they'll edit it out. But anyway, when I was doing the show, you understand what I'm saying. I'm just gonna read. Right. So I was doing the show, and I was walking through the crowd to get to the stage. Say, we love you, man, we love you, man. And it was just touching. Hey, bro, like. Hey, bro, and I thought, hold on, are these not saying what I think they're saying? Like, are they actually saying what I think they're actually saying, or am I like, am I
imagining it?
Yeah, am I imagining it? Yeah. But you have to know where you are, because I'm just like, bro, there's nothing that you can actually say, so you're just kind of just vibing with. Yeah, man.